Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fan Behavior and F1 Podcast. I'm Zoe. I'm with Hannah.
Hey.
And we just have one quick thing to say before we get into this podcast. Wings to help me fly. Sing it, Hannah. Sing it.
Once in a while,
When you believe. Okay, that's enough.
guys.
All things will come with a little time when you believe. Miracles in Miami.
McLaren miracles in Miami. I have never been so psychic before. I don't know if it'll ever happen again.
We did it, Joe.
Oh man, you guys.
Just so obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can tell that
Set's a little different.
Hannah and I are in our hotel bed at the wonderful Balfour Hotel, where we have been staying for the last few days.
We've been spending all of our free time.
We've been spending all of our free time. It's gone. We wake up, we go down to breakfast, we go to the track, we get back from the track, we immediately go back down to where we
don't even go upstairs. We just sit down.
We
on
have dinner.
the lovely front patio.
We come upstairs, we shower, we go to bed. Repeat, rinse, repeat.
Well,
what?
We rinse. We eat some Oreos, watch a Zac Efron movie.
Yeah.
And then we go to bed.
We will be doing, so just for some
context
and also sort of like housekeeping matters, we will be doing this is the Miami race recap episode. So we'll be strictly focusing on what happened on track this weekend. But I think this weekend, we'll be recording a podcast recapping our Miami experience as a whole, all the things that we did, fun little anecdotes, maybe some funny stories. To be honest with you, like we need a little bit of time to kind of recall what we've done, just sort of figure it all out. And also we want to give you guys time to ask us questions about our Miami experience, because we can recap kind of now that we've been to Miami. We can share some more insight into that experience if you plan to go next year, other races. So we will be diving into all that stuff next week in a bonus episode. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Can confirm it's been sweaty though.
Yeah. Very sweaty, very hot. But yeah, this is a race recap, but just wanted to shout out the Balfour Hotel and then also the Elser Hotel, which is where we stayed the first few days and was another sublime experience.
Absolutely
so
sublime.
Thank you to those
10 out of 10
hotels for giving us a place to stay.
Amen.
Visit Miami, for helping us get to this race and experiencing all of this, to be here for Miracles in Miami, which is
like, honestly, I haven't, it like really hasn't sunk in.
No.
I cried.
Yeah. We'll get into all of it.
I know.
I also want to say too that because we were watching from the track, we've been busy with race stuff. There's probably going to be a lot of things we forgot. There's going to be things we didn't know about or didn't see or aren't going to talk about because we're not aware they happened, or just we forgot. Like I'm going to be fully. Typically, I do a full outline. I prepare. I take time.
Right.
That hasn't happened. We are recording it. We got back from the track literally less than 2 hours ago. So just bear with us.
Yeah,
we're going to do our best, because who gives a flying
no
freak?
No one gives a rip.
Guys, Lando Norris won the race.
Daniel Ricciardo got his smile back
for a day.
So
2 days, and then, but that's okay.
It's the little victories. Also, how about our cord management?
It's good. Okay. So let's take it back to Friday.
Yeah.
So
what happened then? What was that?
So Friday was practice and sprint quali.
Right. Sorry.
The days are running together for Hannah.
Yeah.
And we got to the track like right when practice was starting. So I didn't really watch it, but we obviously sat down getting ready to watch sprint quali. And what was funny is funny, haha.
Not funny, weird.
Exactly. Was, I think I said to you right before it started, I'm like, I don't know, actually it may not have been right before it started, but I was like, I think I said something about Daniel getting out in Q1 or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't get out in Q1. I was like, that's weird. Typically he's a Q1
It was pretty
exiter.
exciting.
Yeah.
But what did we have? We had Alpine, Williams and Joe,
and
or was it
both Saubers.
Okay, so then it was. Oh no, it was Williams, Sauber, and Gasly, and that felt pretty typical.
Yes, yeah. I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
we were like, that's pretty accurate. Except there's like maybe an RB, like a Daniel or something.
Yeah, Gasly could have switched. It could have been Daniel.
Yes.
Could have been
Yes, but Daniel kind of he gets into Q2, and we're like, okay, and then Q2 begins, and Daniel just puts up a time, and I was like, he's P5. That's interesting. Or maybe he was P2.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then he ends up P5, and then he was pretty much just there for the whole rest of the session. It was like, this is curious.
And I mentioned that they must have plugged the hole up with gum in his chassis. Which, it's good gum.
Yeah, the gum came loose.
It must use Orbit.
Yeah. Yuki got out in Q2, which was very surprising.
Yeah.
And anybody else notable get out in Q2? I don't
potentially.
I think both Astons maybe.
Yeah.
You guys know.
Yeah. I really couldn't see past Daniel making it to Q1 and getting P5, and nothing else mattered.
So then he gets to Q3. Oh yeah, then he gets to Q3, and then
was Lando out?
No, he made it.
Okay,
but he had a bad lap.
Correct.
So Daniel gets. Oh no! And what we had said originally, we had planned because of the traffic situation, we were like, let's start to head out when Q3 starts, because we were like, okay, Max is probably going to get pole.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's a bunch of screens on the TVs as you're walking through the stadium and stuff, so we figured we could at least see what was going on as we were heading out. And then Daniel gets into Q3, and I was like,
yeah. So for reference for anyone who's watching it on TV or anyone who's there, where the podium was, that was like open for a lot of it. So that was the screen that we walked past and saw that Daniel was Q5 or whatever. Well,
so then we're walking through, and I'm like, Hannah, look at the screen, and he was P4. P4, and we're like, what just happened? Like, how did that happen? Absolutely shook. We were hearing from everybody.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. And it was just great for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, and it was interesting because I anticipated elation from you, and it wasn't. It was this very like cautious optimism.
Yeah.
Of wow. Well,
it's kind of relief, honestly, more than anything.
Yeah, but it was like you weren't allowing yourself to dig deep into the relief and excitement just in case.
Well, and I think also there was a part of me, and we'll get to it obviously, but there was part of me that was like, okay, that's awesome. Like P4 in qualifying is great, but there's been lots.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Let's see what happens.
Right, and because the car isn't that great, I don't want to be burned.
Hurt.
I've been burned way too many times.
I know. You picked terribly.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
not me.
That is correct.
Picks a soccer team, top of the table.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, so speaking to your point, Lando, he did really well in Q2, and then in Q3 and this ends up happening to Daniel actually in the actual qualifying, but Lando just like the tires that he had were just bad, and he had a very bad time, and he qualified P9.
Yeah, 2 thumbs down.
Max was shocked he got pole.
He said lol.
Which hilarious.
Yeah, there was like a break in the simulation for sure.
Well, and again, we can't hear the radio, and so all we saw was that he had said we just could read what his radio was, and we just heard LOL, or we just saw it like in writing.
Yeah, and you saw
LOL.
it in an article. You didn't even see the thing.
I think I asked you, I was like, do you think he said LOL or do you think he said LOL? And then we rewatched the qualifying when we got back to the hotel. And
it's funnier that he said LOL.
He said LOL.
Yeah, his sim convo language was I don't know. Hilarious. It's just I just didn't even I know it sounds dumb, but I didn't even know he knew LOL.
No. So that was sprint qualifying, I should say. Saturday comes around, sprint race time, and we get to our seats, and the sprint begins, and Hannah and I basically don't speak to each other the entire sprint.
True.
Hannah thought I was chanting a mantra.
Yeah, at one point she was just like, I think she was maybe saying something to herself, but I thought she was maybe like casting spells or, you know, praying or I don't know. She was too excited. I was like, are you okay? What are you saying? And she was like, I'm not saying anything. I was like, oh, it looked like you were mantraing. I think I said that.
I was just, I like was clenching my butthole the entire sprint.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I didn't want to disturb her.
So first, you know, so the sprint begins and Lando gets
whiff. Yeah.
And honestly, also Fernando claiming that there's some sort of Spanish bias and that Lewis didn't get a penalty because he's not Spanish. But when you actually watch the replay, the only reason that Fernando got hit was because of his teammate Lance Stroll. Like Lance was already into Fernando's space way before Hamilton got pushed into that space. So
yeah, I can't get into the semantics of that because we all know why Fernando's making a fuss and it has nothing to do with anyone else on the grid.
Yeah. So anyway, so unfortunate for Lando, but you know, it all comes around for him.
Certainly does.
But sad to see him out in the very first
and sad
corner.
to see who caused it, but you know.
Yeah. And so that sent Lance and Fernando, they both I think finished the sprint, but they had to pit. It didn't, I mean, they were basically out of the race at that point.
Yeah. Boo-hoo.
But my focus was obviously on Daniel, and Daniel got Checo at the very start. He was in P3 and then the safety car comes out. And I was like, well, he's obviously not holding on to P3. I honestly was like, going into the sprint, I said to myself in my mind, I didn't say this out loud because I didn't want to jinx anything, but I thought if Daniel can get a point in the sprint, that would be good. Because obviously only 8
Well,
positions.
You made a bet about getting a tattoo.
Well, yeah. I mean.
So you did say it out loud, just to be clear.
Yeah.
And I think, did that bet come true? Do you need to get a tattoo?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I said P3.
Oh.
And
or P5 in the race.
Yeah, which obviously didn't happen.
Well, right, but we didn't know at the time. We were just riding high on the
outlandish
P4
things just to see what could happen, you know, test the
same.
universe.
McLaren Miracles in Miami.
Right. So
I'm just better at it than you.
Yeah. So can you please start manifesting for me? Jesus.
I've fucking tried, dude.
Okay, so
sorry.
Yeah, so I going into it, I was like, if he can at least get a point, I think that would be good. Like I didn't think he would be able to keep the position he qualified with.
Right.
But so Checo does end up passing him, but then literally the whole race, Daniel's able to hold up Carlos.
It was fantastic.
And it was absolutely fantastic and such a great performance. So good.
Yeah.
Genuinely did not put a foot wrong.
Nope.
And I know people will say it was only 19 laps, whatever.
No one
cares.
Sorry.
For that car to be standing or like to hold up a
Plug the whole
Ferrari and a McLaren for 19 laps is impressive.
Yeah, and I'm really tired of it's only 19. A sprint's a sprint. Like it's a real part of the race weekend that happens now, and we just have to take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And he performed for what was required for him to perform.
Yeah. So really, really proud of him. Obviously got some points. He just seems so happy. Kiki A. He seems so happy for just that, you know, even if it was just for that short time.
I don't think his happiness was dimmed. I think it just all changed.
Yeah,
focus.
I think it came back down to reality a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Can we talk about Kevin Magnussen?
Yeah, of course we can.
Okay, what did you think of his antics?
So here's the thing. I said this, like, is it annoying? Sure. Is it also really entertaining? Yeah, of course it is. And he's not messing with anyone that, like, I don't want him to mess with.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. It's not a rule yet that you can't do it.
Right.
And so many a driver has, like, ridden the line when there isn't a rule. And is it going to cause rules to be put in place? Probably, yeah, 100%. But until then, go ahead.
Yeah, it's tough because on one hand, you want drivers to respect the other drivers enough to to race clean,
right?
To not do anything. Of course, there's gray area.
Yeah, and I'm also just assuming he's taking orders and the kid's just trying to keep a seat.
Yeah, he is trying to keep a seat.
So, you know, he's doing what he's being told.
He's dangerously close to a race ban. I mean, there definitely has to be some sort of, I mean, I don't know what the solution is, but I think there needs to be some sort of rule in place that if you get a certain number of penalties in a race or something to that effect, you have a pretty serious penalty or consequence for yourself. Because to get, I think I could, and again, we could be wrong about a lot of our information.
Yeah.
LOL. Lol. Because of the fact that we were watching it at the track. But
Yeah.
I believe he got 3 penalties.
Yeah, he did.
In a 19 lap race.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he was.
That's on teamwork.
Apparently, Lewis wasn't upset because he really kind of was. His main people he was affecting was Lewis and Yuki, I believe. Lewis did get a 20-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which promoted Yuki to P8, so he also got a point in the sprint. But that was kind of unfortunate for Lewis.
That's a hefty penalty.
Penalty. That was really, I mean, again, because it's a short race.
And then
there's
Fernando's yelling that he's not going to get penalized for anything.
Right, exactly.
Just fact checking here.
Exactly. But that was kind of, obviously the main story of the sprint was Daniel Ricciardo's performance.
Of course.
And 19 laps. So
yeah,
not
it's just
a
a
lot.
shame we couldn't get him. Well, okay, and I actually don't know because I think from the coverage we saw, the Sky Sports coverage only does, which we watched when we got home, but it only does the winning interview. I don't know if they do P1 to P3 on other broadcasts, but because I was just going to say it was a bummer Daniel didn't get P3 because we didn't get to like hear an interview from him.
Oh, I think we would have, we didn't watch the sprint back. We watched the sprint qualifying back, but we still haven't watched the sprint back.
Oh, but at the track when it was on, they only interviewed Max.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they interviewed only Max for the sprint qualifying and not the sprint, but you might be right.
Potentially.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't recall.
I don't recall. So, yeah, good. And we were feeling high on the miracles part of our manifestation because of the P4 finish. That was just really strong, and we felt really good about ourselves going into qualifying. We then had a wonderful meetup.
Yeah, it was
following
so
the sprint,
nice.
which was so great. So to everybody who came to the meetup, thank you for coming by. We loved meeting all of you, talking to you guys. You guys are just the nicest people. So kind. Gave us bracelets.
Yeah, and I was actually I was thinking today, and please forgive me because we met many a friend, but I think was it Cassandra that I gave my Lando Era bracelet to that you made me?
Yes.
I was thinking about her today when he won because she was just so excited to. I mean, many of us were excited for Lando, obviously.
And you know what I love too, and I said this to Hannah afterwards. I said it was so nice because obviously we all met after the sprint, and the amount of people that came up to me and were like, "Oh my God, Daniel!"
Yeah.
That was so and just it was so nice. It's just nice to feel seen.
Absolutely. Oh, and then Kelsey gave me a bracelet that she was like, so I made this bracelet specifically for you, which is already just like the nicest thing ever. But guys, it says, "Tell me we have it." And she says, okay, so I'm going to give this to you, but you have to read it in the voice. And I was like, done. Tell me we have it.
Do what you did today.
I was just saying it as if Carlos said it today. Tell me we have it. And this race engineer goes, I cannot. Because he, in fact, did not have anything. Anything. Oh, tell me we have it. I cannot. We do not have it. We're punchy.
Yeah. So funny.
Good. So yes, thank you to everyone. It was so nice.
Yeah. And apologies if we didn't get to meet you this weekend, or if you came on one of the other days. Unfortunately, timing of these weekends is always kind of crazy,
really hard,
and we had other things and stuff we had to do this weekend. So if we didn't get to meet you, hopefully we'll get to meet you at another race sometime soon. But yeah, loved talking to you all, and just thank you for listening. It means a lot to us. So.
It's really cool, like putting handles to faces. You know, I know that sounds stupid, but
to see the people that actually listen to you every week.
Yeah, it's just really
cool.
nice.
Very, very nice. We watched the first F1 Academy race as well.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We'll get to F1 Academy a little bit later, which was great, and love seeing. I guess we can kind of get into it a bit now, but loved seeing the attention around Academy and like the people that were, because I think we mentioned this on the podcast, you could walk through the F1 Academy paddock and see the cars and stuff, and
it was packed.
It was always packed.
It was awesome.
Always people in there, which was very cool. So I hope they continue to do that for other tracks.
I'm sure they will,
because that was such a good idea. And
it was really popular. Like, and there were always people, like even when it was closed, because they were like getting the cars into Parc Fermé or whatever, like the cars weren't there, whatever it was, like people were always just kind of waiting nearby. And like there was just a lot of interest around it. It was awesome.
Very, very cool. So then we went to qualifying, and yeah, the luck ran out. So I read that Daniel said that what happened to Lando in qualifying, the sprint qualifying, happened to him in qualifying, which is that like I guess there's a thing in Formula One, and other people can tell me, more about this, where like you can get a set of tires on your car and they just like
Shit the bed.
They're just like they're like a dud set is what they call them.
Okay.
And like it just doesn't, from the very beginning of the lap, it's like they just don't work.
Got it.
And he basically was like, I saw what
it's
happened
like putting
to Lando.
in new batteries, but they're dead.
I guess Lando had that happen to him the day before, as I said, and just was like sliding around, like couldn't get any sort of traction, grip, anything like that. And Daniel said that's what happened to him in Q1, which is why he didn't get out. Because I was honestly going into qualifying like, okay, this guy's gonna definitely get into Q3. Like he just got P4 in the sprint, he qualified P4. He has a lot of confidence. I was like, this is weird, you know.
But
who else got out? Oh, Alex. Oh, and we didn't even mention that Logan out qualified Alex in the sprint race.
So
his first time out qualifying Logan Sargent.
Another miracle.
Temporarily. Exactly. Who else got out? Oh, I think like Valtteri and Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely
else.
don't remember.
All the usual suspects.
No one that made me, gasp.
Yeah, I'm trying to even think of anything actually that exciting happened in qualifying.
No.
It really wasn't that great.
It was a big.
I mean, it was typical. It was the usual
your average quali.
Yeah, it was Max getting pole, Charles coming in second, Checo coming in a few places behind that. It was, I guess the big shocking thing too was that Lance out qualified Alonso, I think, in both
that's true,
which is a little interesting.
Yeah.
So good for Lance.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was qualifying. Again, I mean, I don't know. You guys,
was fine.
It was fine. What we came here for was the sprint. Was the race.
I was like, no, I didn't.
I mean, I came for the sprint.
Yeah, I know, but we talked about that.
Yeah. So we were fortunate enough on Sunday, today, to get invited to the F1 Academy paddock and hospitality by Rebel Racing, and Pepe Jeans, our great friend now, I can say, friend Alice, invited us, which was so nice.
So nice.
And
it was very fun.
So we, this morning, got to go spend some time in the hospitality. I'm sure you guys have seen it on social media, but they had like Charlotte Tilbury, who's obviously a sponsor of F1 Academy, had like a little area of their hospitality where they were doing makeup for people, and they had professional makeup artists who are going to be at the Met Gala
which
tomorrow
is cool.
that did our makeup, which is
I wish I asked who
cool.
they were actually like doing makeup for, but I don't think they're probably allowed to tell me.
Probably not allowed to say. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure also, well, I don't know if you saw, but a lot of the WAGs were in the paddock or F1 Academy paddock, but they were also getting their makeup done by Charlotte Tilbury. So we saw a handful of them today, which was fun. And that was just very nice. It was nice to be in some air conditioning. It was nice to have some food.
Yeah, met some nice people.
Met some great people. Got to tour the paddock. Got a little garage tour, which was great. Got to see.
Shout out to Sarah on the Red Bull team.
Got to see the RB Miami livery up close and personal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Which was such a nice livery. I hope they keep. I mean, they won't, but that livery. And we didn't even talk about the livery, like Ferrari livery tees.
Yeah,
with the blue.
Which I'm not surprised that that's what happened.
But let's just
I even said to you, I said, "Are we doing full blue?" And you're like, "Yeah, full blue." And I was like, "That just, I don't know."
I guess not. They went full. At least they went full with their like suits and their shirts and their hats and their blah blah blah. But RB killing it with the livery, not only the actual car, but the reveal.
Yeah,
with
the
car wash.
Brilliant.
Genius.
Yeah, it was really good.
So good.
Love a good livery reveal.
It was great. So amazing time with F1 Academy. Loved it. So great. Okay, the race. So the race begins.
Yeah.
And it starts out
pretty typical. Max
out in the lead, Charles Leclerc in second place. Again, not anything like super crazy, right? Am I forgetting anything?
Why do I feel like something big happened at the beginning?
I don't think something big happened at the
No,
beginning.
I don't think so either.
Max ran into a cone thing. What do they
That was a
call it?
while. That was far into the
No, I
race,
know,
though.
but I'm going because
Oh yeah, there was an incident, but I don't think it was at the beginning. I think I'm just getting confused. I was starting to get a little sun fatigue.
Okay.
That was the lamest part though too, because we were like barely outside and we sit down for the race and I was like, I think I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it was quite chaotic.
It was warm. Anyway, keep going.
Max runs over the thing, which was I felt like it may have destroyed his car, but
Was that early?
No.
Okay, so we're just cutting to
Well,
that.
what else was there? What else happened?
I'm just checking.
No.
I want to make sure I'm in line with
You're
what's
in
going
line.
on.
You're in
All
line.
right,
You're in
cool.
line. I think it was like halfway through the race.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was crazy. Okay, I do have one piece of, I have a piece of beef. I have a really hard time. When you have the commentators you listen to and you like listening to, I am so used to the Sky Sports broadcast that the commentators that were on track, it was a little tough for me to like dial in, you know? Mm-hmm. The one comment that really threw me for a loop was one of the commentators said, "Oh, it's fine. You should just be able to drive over it." And I was like, with all the respect in the world, sir, you have absolutely no idea what you've just said. He can't just drive over it.
Yeah.
It will ruin everything.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no biggie. All that to say, I'm pretty sure he lightly tapped it and it ruined his car for the rest of the race, which was honestly, respectfully, awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
and he still got second. And his car was...
Yeah, it was... Well, and we don't actually know if it was
we
damaged or not. I
know he was having some issue with his rear grip on the tires.
And then I think what really led us to where we are now is Kevin Magnussen doing what Kevin Magnussen does best, which is running into...
Antagonize people.
Logan Sargent.
Which...
Let's pour one out for Logan Sargent, guys.
Seriously, like
Let's
of
pour
all
one
the
out.
people, I'm just...
It's tough.
My heart's breaking. And can we also just give him a shout out because he looked hot today.
Yep.
Hot.
He's getting...
I don't know what he's done with his hair.
His hair looks good.
But it's a transformation like the George Russell hair transformation. And it's been clapping.
Yeah. It was... It's... I know that a lot of these people, they make their own luck, and you could say that he just isn't good enough, and that's why he's causing or having these issues.
It's
but
a mix.
It's a mix. It's just... I said this back in Australia when they decided to put Alex in his car in place of him and all that stuff. This is going to ruin his confidence. Like, he is going to be just
shaken up Chicago.
And it just hasn't been good for him. But this leads to a safety car, which then essentially puts Lando in a position to win the race. And... there's like whatever. You guys don't come into our DMs being like trying to correct us about information because, again, we're doing the best we can.
I mean, in fairness, you did at the beginning of the episode ask them to let us know if we got anything.
I just meant like if we miss like pieces of information, but you don't have to be like it was actually lap 53 rather than lap 47.
No, that's fine.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
But there was a substantial amount of laps left in the race.
Yeah, there was.
15, 20, something to that degree.
Enough that I was still nervous.
Enough that it was like, I don't know if Lando's going to be able to hold on to this lead.
Yeah, but then the gap just kept getting bigger.
Gap kept getting bigger. And that's
and by bigger, we mean 6 seconds, not 30.
Which is still...
like Max can do.
Which is
no, 100%.
I mean, the fact that he got out of DRS frames very, very quickly, I was thinking
that
to
was
myself,
awesome.
okay, this is going to work here.
And wouldn't you know it.
And... we were just at this point, Hannah and I needed to move into some shade, and so we went to the stadium to watch it in the stadium. And I'm just holding my breath. Is he going to make it? 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 And I should also say, pouring out for Oscar Piastri too.
Amen.
Tough.
Yeah,
tough.
But he's a noob. He's got time,
and he's cool as a cucumber. He just keeps it rolling.
God love him. Nicole, you did good. And Nicole's husband. I don't know his dad's name.
I don't know his dad's name either. But we did it. Lando Norris, Grand Prix champion.
I cried.
winner.
I did cry harder when we watched High School Musical 3 the other night, but I did cry when I was just
I was so
happy.
thrilled for him.
Like, so happy.
And
it's just like we have a new winner, and it's not even just a non-Red Bull winner. It is a first-time race winner. He's been driving for so long. Oh, it just made me so happy. Like, I'm having a Lando moment. A lot of people are having Lando moments.
Sure.
It just felt like the most beautiful time. It helped. Like, I felt personally responsible in some ways.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously had the smallest role in the whole thing, but I did feel like I, loaned something to the world. Actually, we were just talking about this in the elevator.
Oh.
Or not the elevator. We haven't been in the elevator since we got here. We were just talking about this at dinner. That I wonder if, because Travis Kelce was there today, although I've only seen one image. It's like he came, ate a chicken tender, and then left. We never saw anything of him again. I'm sure there's more now, but because we were at the Taylor Swift concert the night that Travis Kelce gave her the friendship bracelet with the phone number, or attempted to.
Yeah.
And he was there again today, and we had that energy, and he had that energy. Did that energy converge again and release for someone to take hold? And Lando took hold, and then he won. I'm sure that's not it. But the other option was that the hotel we're staying in, the elevator only has 2 floors it goes to, level 3 and level 4. And wouldn't you know it, Lando Daniel.
Yeah, and it was really like Lando had a bad sprint quali and a bad sprint, and Daniel had a good sprint quali and a good sprint, and then Daniel had a bad quali, Lando had an okay quali, and Lando had a great race. Like it was like they took each other's luck from each other.
Yeah, it was really nice,
as good teammates do. I was gonna say too, Lando's win. It's been like hanging over his head for so long, and it's been this whole
just
story
like this thing he can't do. And
when is Lando gonna get his first win? When's he gonna get his first win? And even though he is so young, he's been in Formula One for quite a while now, and has had He's never had the best car on the grid, but he's always had a car. I shouldn't say always, but for the most part, had a car that is capable of winning. Obviously, Daniel won when they were teammates in 2021. There's been some other instances where he sort of bottled the win and could have won but didn't win, and it's just been kind of this looming thing. And Oscar got the sprint win last year,
right.
And Lando hasn't gotten one of those, and so it just he has the monkey off his back.
Yeah,
and he can forevermore say that he is a Formula One winner.
Yeah, and not everyone can say that.
Literally only how many people can say that on the grid? Let's go through the numbers.
Okay. Max, Checo,
Lewis.
Charles.
Okay, let's go. Yeah. Charles,
Carlos, Lewis, George.
Lando.
Daniel.
Valtteri. Pierre, Esteban, Fernando.
Is that it?
Yeah, because Alex hasn't won, Logan hasn't won, Joe hasn't won, Oscar hasn't won, Nico, KMag, Yuki.
Crazy.
Right? Lance.
Yeah.
So like half the grid, basically.
Which is crazy.
Right. So anyway, congratulations.
So happy
to Lando.
And can we just like give it up for all the boys for being so supportive of the win? Like it was just honestly so nice. Everyone was so excited for him.
Once the race ended, that content was the best because
it was so wholesome.
Lando's whole radio and him being so just emotional, and
I can't wait we haven't rewatched it yet.
I know. And
or at least I haven't. Maybe you did.
No, I mean I've seen some clips on the internet. His celebration, Max coming over to him, Charles, and then you had, Daniel and Lewis and Fernando, George, Carlos.
So happy.
Everyone just so thrilled for him, and then you got the cool down room. Then we had the podium. We heard God. Hannah and I literally turned to each other when the anthem starts, and we're like, we had like forgotten almost that we were going to be hearing a different anthem, and we were like, oh my God, it's God Save the King. We couldn't believe it.
It was so
it's been so
fun.
long since we've ever heard that.
It was a good weekend for McLaren because Bianca got second
podium
today, so and good for England because Abby won. So we heard God Save the King twice today.
Abby won twice this weekend. And also Chloe Chambers, who's an American Haas driver, got a podium for Haas. So we got some American representation in there.
Yep.
So congratulations to all. Congratulations to Lando. I'm sure he is partying it up right now.
Probably.
And just living his best life.
Yeah. Oh, just so happy.
What an amazing time. Okay, let me run through some of these questions before we get into our fan and foe of the weekend. KMag penalty points. So yeah, KMag has currently 10. I think he got, I honestly think he got, again, this could be wrong, but I think he got 5 penalty points just this weekend.
Yikes.
And if you get 12, race ban. And he has 10.
All right. Well, he can cool off for a bit.
So
when do they reset again? When you get race banned?
No. Well, yes.
Or
the
a year.
following year. Yeah.
So is Pierre out of the woods with that?
He's yeah.
Cool.
I think I saw somewhere recently. It was like,
I mean, hasn't been driving. I mean, there's been no risk of that for him. So
he just got
a race ban might make him feel better. Actually,
he just got his first overtake last race. He had been the only driver the whole season to not have at least one overtake until last race in China.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love that Pierre has can brush shoulders with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But for his mental health, I need him to get transferred to a different team.
Also, congratulations to Esteban. He got a point today. And, you know,
credit where credit's due.
Alpine needs any point they can get. So
retweet.
Congratulations to them. And hopefully Patrick and Travis enjoyed that. Okay. Someone said the Max and James Charles photo.
Nothing has shaken me up more.
No. And I mean,
shocking.
Yeah, very shocking. Okay, do we think Logan will be replaced mid-season?
I really hope not. It seems it doesn't seem impossible. It seems very anti Williams messaging, James messaging, really, for how he kind of stood up for him last season and was talking about it and talking about Logan. But nothing surprises me anymore. And I would understand from a business standpoint why they would make the change.
So, you
especially if Ollie's like up for grabs and like they either need to get him now or like lose out.
Kimmy.
Yep. I do.
Yeah, there was always like there have been some rumors that Kimmy was going to replace Logan by Imola. Kimmy is not 18 yet, so he would need a special like basic like a what's the word I'm looking for? Exception, I guess, made to get him a super license so he could race. Which we know that they didn't do that for Colton Herta. So I don't know that that's going to happen necessarily, but it does seem like Kimmy is waiting in the wings, and they're going to do another test, I think, with him and Mick Schumacher sometime soon to kind of compare them again. So I don't think Logan's going to be, I mean, again, tomorrow we could get a whole new announcement, but I don't think he's going to get replaced by Imola, but
anything's possible.
I think it's very possible. Sad to say.
It is sad to say.
And it's just sad because also, like, then why did you re-sign him for another year? That's my thing.
Well, and that I think is the conversation. If the rumors are true and he does get replaced, it's kind of like, why have you done that?
Yeah.
But
why have you done that?
But didn't James? I mean, you know, they always shut down rumors, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's been a toughie.
Fred at the post-race McLaren celebration.
Fred is a G.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing. We were coming home on Saturday. Yeah, not because it wasn't today. Coming home from Saturday, and we see Christian Horner, and
LOL.
So the principals and I think the drivers, but I only saw principals. They like arrive and leave the track with a police escort. Which, like, I get it. They're important and rich and they need to get somewhere. But, like, hello, I spent my hard-earned cash going to this thing and I'm sitting in traffic for hours.
Yeah.
But saw Toto Wolff drive by, saw Christian Horner drive by, and then Freddie V. Who I have just grown to love with all of my heart.
He's my favorite principal.
I love him so much.
Sorry,
he's so
to
hilarious.
Toto Wolff, but
the celebration with McLaren was iconic.
Him and Gunther playing football
catching
with each
footballs.
other. That was funny.
American footballs.
Yeah. What I appreciate about Fred is that he doesn't take himself too seriously.
No, he's like the anti-Italian principal.
But he also he's
the godfather.
Yeah. He can like make some serious moves.
Yeah.
Adrian Newey also left Red Bull. We didn't even talk about that, but or did we talk about that
Yeah, we did a whole
I guess it hadn't been officially confirmed.
Oh,
but now
yeah,
it's officially confirmed. But we don't know if Adrian's going to go to
Ferrari.
But he can be the goofy guy, but he can also back it up with real results. We haven't seen, knock on wood, this isn't wood, but Ferrari's issues like we've seen in past years.
Correct.
They seem to have their stuff together. There's no plan F. There's no plan,
I've only heard plan D. Which is fine. On a test, you have 4 options.
Yeah, and that you got to have all the different scenarios lined up. The pit stop, we got a 1.9 second pit stop today for Charles.
Very exciting.
So, listen, I think things are being revamped, and we have to give credit where credit's due.
And that credit goes to Freddie V.
100%. There was more that I was
Absolute
going to get to, but I
closed out of it.
Accidentally lost it all. So excuse me.
I'm so tired.
You're hanging in there, Hannah. You're doing a great job. Oh,
thanks.
People also wanted to talk about like Carlos and Oscar. Did we ever talk about Carlos and Oscar's beef and like Carlos getting the penalty?
No.
But yeah, I mean, they've always seemed to have a little bit of something. Oh, remember last year, Oscar was like, he just ran right into me.
Oh yeah.
And Carlos was kind of patronizing towards Oscar. And was like, he needs to just learn and get experience. Yeah, something's there. And you know what?
No.
That I think is when my tide started to shift involving Carlos.
Curious.
So I did put him back up higher because he didn't pass Daniel.
Facts.
I don't think he did it because he like felt. I don't think
No.
Could,
he doesn't have it in him to not pass someone. But
that's true. That's very, very true. Okay, let's get to our fan and foe. Would you like to start with your fan?
Sure.
Okay. Say it.
I have 2. I mean, I think it was obviously the meetup. It was so much fun, and we had some friends that we knew, friends that we hadn't met yet. It was so fun. I also just want to give a huge shout out to our friend Neha, who absolutely rocked it with ESPN this weekend.
Such a great job.
So excited for her. We had dinner with her the night before media day, and we're just like talking to her about all the stuff that she was going to be able to do, and just so excited for her. She did a great interview with Daniel. She did some stuff with Lando, Oscar, many, many more, and she just rocked it. Her outfits were 10 out of 10, fantastic, and I just get so excited for our friends who get to do cool stuff because it opens the door for all of us to do cool stuff. And it just made me really happy. And our queen, Michaela, she loves F1, hung out with Carmen today, which is iconic. So also the paddock. I don't know. The weekend was great. I didn't write it down, so I just vomited my words. What about you?
My fan, my jokey fan was that Max said lol.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why I can't get over that. I just can't get over it. I think it's so funny.
He's such a Gen Z. Who knew?
That we got a Kiki A again.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we got one
Kiki
of those.
A,
Kiki A. If you know, you know. And also, I was going to say that I like how I feel like this year with F1 content creators and stuff, I feel like there's just been a lot more opportunities for them to be involved with like sponsors and to get to do super cool stuff. And whether it's, you know, as you mentioned, Michaela, she loves F1. Neha, TG1F was here this weekend with the brand for the girls, was here with people. Like there's just, I don't know. I just think it's great that I think we're in a time now where these sponsors and brands and just
they're dialed in.
F1 in general, they're understanding the need for your typical influencer and then also your F1 influencer and bringing them together. And I think it's great, and I love seeing it. And we know this, like, it's not easy to, I mean, it's fun, it's great, but like it's a lot of work, and it's time consuming and all this stuff. And so to see people get rewarded for what we know is a lot of work is great.
Agreed.
So,
yeah, it was fun. And I think we saw like most of our creator friends we saw, except for TG1F, which was such a bummer because we kept trying to figure out a time to meet up and it just didn't work out. So
And we didn't see Monvi either.
Oh yeah, we didn't see. I kept thinking we saw her because we just did the podcast with her.
Oh,
So it's like we were Zoomed whatever recently, but yeah, we didn't get to see Monvi. But it was good times, man.
yeah. Okay, your foe.
My foe is that I've been sweating for 72 hours, and I no one likes being really hot, no one likes being really cold, but I freaking hate being hot. I don't do it well. I hate it. That's it.
On period.
Yeah, I missed Crofty and Martin this weekend.
Yeah.
And Ted. 2 sex Ted. That was the other thing. I could never hear the driver radio messages. And it wasn't the commentator's fault. It was like, I mean, sometimes they were talking and didn't stop, but also the way that the echo was in the stadium made it really hard to hear the radio
too.
messages. Yeah. Which, God, I love that sound. Oh, my other foe.
Mm-hmm.
Love the series. Think it's super fun. Hate the sound that the Porsche.
Yeah.
Is it the Carrera?
Yeah. Hannah's not a fan of. Well, and
it's just they're so loud. Like
the engines are really loud.
That's the one like support race that like because even when F1's going on, like you can walk and it's loud, and especially when they pass by, but you can still like carry a conversation. When the Porsches drive by, no chance.
No chance.
You just have to wait until they leave.
It's like people will be like talking, and then the car will come by and be like pause conversation.
Yeah, they'll have to stop for like 20 seconds, and like every minute and a half, you have to stop talking for 20 seconds for like 30 minutes. But
it's fun. My foe is just that there was certain people at the race today that I just was like,
what are you doing here?
Disappointed to see at the race today. And we're not a political podcast, and we're not going to be a political podcast. But it's just it's not what I'm choosing to focus on today, but I was annoyed by it.
The thing that I do want to add, and I don't know if this is true or not true, and I don't want to make it political, but we were having this conversation, and you can't prevent a human of the public spending money and getting a garage tour. So I don't know how said person became a tour guide recipient or a tour recipient.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to cast aspersion. Was that the word?
Yeah. Well, I also said this too, like, what's annoying about just this whole, like, what's frustrating is that certain people cannot do certain things, and then other people can do other things. I know I'm being very, very vague here, and I'm not really saying anything, but I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. Well, I'll have more coherent thoughts about this probably on next week's episode, and I'll maybe have some rant to go on or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I bet you still won't go on the rant, which I totally understand.
Yeah. But just know that I too was frustrated by it and annoyed by it, and
did someone just knock on our door?
I don't think so.
That's good. I guess you don't have headphones on. So.
Oh, and then just the last thing is the draft. I need to go through the numbers. The reality is Hannah absolutely crushed me this weekend because she had Charles Leclerc and I had Alex Albon, and that's really the long and short of it.
We'll have to draw next.
We will have to draw next week.
Mm.
Yeah. So there were 4 sessions that Hannah was able to get points in, and 4 sessions that I got no points in. So she's gonna have a nice lead on me.
Fun
going into next week.
Are we picking our next word?
Yeah, we can pick our next word. So
okay.
I said on Instagram that we wanted some inspiration for our insert word in Imola. Now, a lot of you guys, when I asked for the words, you were saying like Ferrari win, whatever. What we're
alliteration's the goal.
Yeah. So we did. Obviously, I did Miracles in Miami. Hannah did McLaren in Miami,
and it just worked out to be.
And so going forward, each race we're gonna do alliteration. And I also decided I'm gonna make some sort of art project with all the different words that we use, and we can put it up somewhere. It'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So do you have? I actually lost the word that I was going to say.
I have 2.
Well, okay, you have to pick one.
Well, I understand that, but thought we could workshop it together.
Okay. Go for it.
I think I know the one I want to go with.
Okay, go for it.
So I'll tell you. But I was the 2 I had was interessant, because I feel like I use that.
Interessant, yes.
And insanity.
Okay. So which one are you going to use?
I think insanity is more interesting, but interessant is more on brand.
Yeah,
and it leaves room for interpretation, because here's my thought. It's like, we did so much with miracles in Miami, you know, like I don't want to lose faith in this ability to manifest and to alliterate. And so I think for me, it's just like the unexpected. That doesn't mean that Max won't win or whatever. It doesn't mean we'll get a new race winner, but I want some chaos.
Yes. Chaos would be key.
So I think insanity.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I'm so tired.
I honestly lost the word.
I know. I
that
meant
I was
to tell
going
you to write it down
to use.
Because you came to you really fast.
It
You're
did
like,
come to me very
I know
fast. But I'm looking through other people's words.
Do you remember what it conveyed?
No. Okay. I'm gonna go
Ingenuity?
No. Someone someone suggested infidelity in Imola.
Ooh, probably.
From
someone.
I'm going
Something.
to go with inspiration.
Okay.
In Imola. I want something inspiring. I want to feel a little bit inspired.
Okay.
Maybe should I say inspired in Imola? I guess that's
what it is.
Oh, I said inspiration, but I'm going to say inspired. I want to feel
inspired. I want to feel insane.
Okay. So those are our words. There's not as much you can do with. I know a bunch of people suggested incidents in Imola, but that's
fine. It does
that's
go with
risky for me to say.
It is
such
risky,
words.
but it goes with the insanity. Insanity. I think it leaves it a little bit more open-ended
connotation too.
Yeah.
I can't be saying such things.
No, sure.
Yeah, that will end very poorly for me. So,
and what's after Imola? Just so I can start
Monaco.
thinking. Oh, another M. Okay.
Yeah. We got quite a few M's on this calendar. Monaco, Montreal, Monza. So
can we like make it Canada instead of Montreal, or does it have to be the name of the city? I'm up for either. I just want to be prepared.
I think we gotta go.
We could do like chaos in Canada.
I think we have to go with what the when I look up the race schedule,
whatever it says on there.
Yeah, so
because
like
some of them are going to be named after the track.
That's true.
Like Spa, I'm calling
and
it
also
Spa.
like Imola is actually Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Yeah. Okay. So the city then.
The city, I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. That's
fair.
fair.
So
that's fair.
Okay. So there you have it.
Okay.
Anything else you want to just leave us with before?
No, I'm not really sure what we talked about.
Yeah, I know we're a little. I've said this 1,000 times, but apologies if this has been a little bit incoherent.
I think it's been fun.
We're doing the best we can.
Ooh, incoherent and Imola.
Oh, incoherent.
Nah, it doesn't flow as nicely.
And I guess we could always change our word if we come up with one better, but I think
if you think of your other one, let everyone know.
Yeah. Okay, so next week we'll be back with a, I think, regular episode on Monday, as well as a bonus episode recapping our Miami experience. I will be out for Imola, so Hannah will have a co-host, and maybe she can come up with a word.
True.
And hopefully nothing like, imagine if this is the race where like Charles Leclerc wins or Daniel Ricciardo does super well or something. I'm gonna like zoom in. I'll FaceTime in.
Okay.
I sent a voice note.
Yeah.
No, it's probably good for me to take a breather and just like, I mean, I'm not taking it's.
I understand. Stop talking.
Going away forever. And we're also not doing a pyramid this week. I know some people were reaching out.
But also, Lando's at the top.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah. We just don't have the time to do it, but apologies for that. Anything else you want to say?
This was a great weekend, and thank you to everyone. I mean, honestly, it sounds so cheesy and cliche, but like it's because you guys listen that we're able to have the experience like this weekend that we're able to have. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being excited for us. It does not go unnoticed. We appreciate you all.
Thank you for interacting with our content.
Yeah.
That makes a difference for us.
It sure does.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Enchante!